questions, guys?
Yeah, questions.
I know you've done this a long time, but is it still special the first day at a new place, first practice?
Oh yeah, I mean, I couldn't sleep last night. It was like, I don't know, I probably fell asleep about 1, woke up about 4:15, and that just out of excitement, you know. You've heard me talk a couple times about deserving the right. I think the guys have deserved the right to attack spring ball from the work they did in the winter, and so I was anxious to get out there with them today.
What do you glean from the first day of practice?
Well, you know, for me, it's the first time I've seen, like, these quarterbacks throw a ball. You know, it's the first time I've seen some of these guys, like, I've seen them move, but do football things. You know, practice is kind of chaotic, so I really can't assess much until I go back and watch the tape. But I'll just continue to say, like, you know, I don't know if we're good or not, but we're a very coachable team. And so I think a lot of it for us right now is about just establishing standards. We want to be a team that, you know, doesn't beat itself. Like, we want to be a team that goes out and executes. And, you know, for me, that's, you know, everyone was in the building by 5:15. You know, everyone was dressed appropriately. Everyone knew their assignments. And so that's a great start. You know, if we can establish that basis, that standard of, hey, we're all going to be on time, we're all going to practice hard, we're all going to know our jobs, then the town will take over.
How'd the quarterbacks throw the ball?
I thought they threw the ball well. You know, I don't think we did quarterbacks had individual outs. It was windy, and we had the quarterbacks, you know, we're not going to throw very often in the indoor. We're going to learn how to throw the ball through the wind. And so I thought they threw the ball well. You know, there's so often, you know, if a play is not quite off, is the receiver at the right depth? So there's a lot of things I have to probably go back and watch, but you can tell we have that's as talented a quarterback room as I've ever been a part of. You know, so it was good to see those guys out there.
Casey doing anything with that?
Casey's not doing anything, right? He's not allowed to throw yet. Casey and Logan aren't throwing yet.
Matt, will you guys be a morning team meeting in the fall, or is this a spring type thing?
No, if I have my druthers, academics always comes first, but I'll always be a morning team. This 6 a.m. was not my cup of tea. I don't want to make the guys get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't think it's great for them. This was so that I could give them the Easter Saturday off. You know, I think Easter is a time that everyone should have off to go and be with their family, or guys from far away hopefully can get with some of the local families. So to give them Easter Saturday off, I had to do Monday morning. It's a little nerve-wracking having a week off for spring break and then having to go Monday, Tuesday. But the other practices will start about 7:45 to 8 o'clock on Tuesday, Thursdays. Saturdays will start at 9, except for our coaches' clinic will be 9:30. But we'll try to practice in the mornings in the fall. I just like getting them first thing in the morning. You know, kind of give them a chance then to recover all day and focus on academics.
You've been talking about how coachable this team is. Like, that's a good first impression. Some examples of that.
Well, I mean, there's just not a lot of defensiveness. You know, I talk about palms up a lot. There's not a lot of palms up. Like, you know, I think great players listen with their eyes. You know, like these guys will turn and listen to you, and we're talking a lot about it. You know, this generation of players, of young people, is under so much pressure. Like, you know, you drop one pass and you can become a meme pretty quickly, right? So there's a lot of pressure. So we're trying to reduce the idea of good and bad. Like you know, you come out and you throw an interception. You come out and you bust a coverage. We don't play till August 31st. Like, it's not good. It's not bad. It's just, hey, you did something well today. You probably did some things that weren't to the level you want. Just being very deliberate with our practice, you know, building off the things we did well, working on the things we're not doing well, but getting rid of good and bad and all these emotional, like, oh my God, like, just calm down, guys. We're gonna get better. You know, the coaches, it's our first time here today. Like, I got, you know, indoors to outdoors, 3 stations going, and the coaches are struggling to get lined up. I'm struggling, you know, so we'll be better tomorrow.
Matt, you guys jump right in with so much going on around the program, whether it's your clinic upcoming, your visitors that you have on campus. Can you just speak to the energy that you feel around here, whether it's, you know, coming from players, coaches, you know, others on staff, and just where it's at right now?
Well, I think we have a great staff, and so you know, I know that when I walk in the building today at 5:15, that Kristen, our nutritionist, has already been here making sure there's stuff ready since 4 o'clock in the morning. I know that I can give Sean Padden and Vince Ginta and Ryan Callahan and those guys a bunch of stuff in recruiting, and they're going to knock it out. I know that Susan Elza is going to have so, like, I have a great staff, right? So we're able to attack a lot of different things. We don't want to put our name on something, though, and have it not be elite. So, like when people come to practice, I want them to say, "Wow, that practice might not be perfect, but it was run well." When people come to our clinic, when people come to our camps, like I want to run the best camp in the country this summer for the kids, all over the state of Nebraska. So. I guess it requires a little bit of energy, but it's exciting, and these players deserve it. I mean, I would tell you if I was like, oh, geez, I don't know about these guys, but these guys, they really want to be good, and so I don't know if we are good. That's the big difference, right? Like people ask me all the time, I'm just trying to get us a little bit better every day, and they're adapting that mentality. But, it's exciting, right? And there's a lot of people who care. We had Danny Woodhead out at practice today. We had some high school coaches. We had high school coaches came from Kansas. We went and spoke at a clinic in Kansas City. And, that takes time. That takes an investment from Trev. Letting us, hey, you know what, it's going to take, we need to fly over there, but fly right back so we can be at workouts the next morning. And our athletic department, I think they're really stepping up to allow us to do things at a high level. And then we're trying to match it with our work ethic. And then hopefully that creates a little excitement at practice.
You've mentioned that the team is coachable. From the outside, that would be maybe something people would take for granted. Why don't you take that for granted?
You should try go coach somewhere. I'm saying most kids nowadays are just defensive, not just because they're not confident, right? So you just have to break that part of it down. Especially you got Luke Reimer over there. He's all Big Ten. He's learning a whole new defense, man. That can be really, really hard, right? You got guys coming in from different programs. You got guys coming in from Georgia and Texas. Why are we doing it this way? But we don't have a lot of that. So I would just say there's just a really good core of kids on this. I say kids, really good core of men on this team who do things right. And I know I said this, and people probably hear things I say, and they don't know why I'm saying it. You go back and look at last year's team. They could have thrown in the towel. They battled all the way to the end. They beat Iowa. They had a 3.1 GPA. When you have a staff change, you have a 3.1 GPA. That's outrageous. So there's just so many good people in the program, and but yeah, there's a lot of lack of coachability in the world today, and we have a lot of guys here that are being pretty coachable.
I know you felt good about how Tony and the defensive staff was coming together a few weeks ago when you talked to us. Does it take time on the field to get a feel for each other with them, or do you feel good about where they are with the language and all that?
Oh, the language is good. It just Tony probably has to get adjusted to me, and in the way that probably some of the things that I'd like to have done, and I'm getting adjusted to Tony, right, in the way he does some things. So I think there'll be a melding. To me, it's not everyone always focuses on the scheme. There's been 3-4 teams that win the national championship. There's been 4-3 teams, 4-2-5 teams. I mean, to me, it's really about how you do what you do. So the standards of the way that we practice, the way that we strip the ball, the way we move from drill to drill, those are the ones that are important to me. So we literally I take notes. You guys will be at practice, I'm assuming, at some point. I take notes the whole time in my phone, and then we go in and we meet, and I say, now let's talk about this. Tell me why we're doing that. It's really important that we go through this process now in the spring, so when we hit the fall, there is no gray area. That's the worst thing you can give players is gray area. It's got to be concrete. And you have to be really humble as coaches. You have to sometimes say, you know what, guys, we've been coaching it this way. We're going to switch it to this because we think it'll be better for us. So there's multiple ways to do things. We just want to make sure we're giving our guys the best chance. I like our backs. Gabe Irvin's probably been one of the stars of the offseason. He's one of the fastest guys on the team at 221 pounds, 222 pounds. To me, he can hopefully be that battering ram that puts games away. Again, 4 times last year had the lead in the third, going into the fourth, or in the fourth quarter. And so I'll never get used to that. So to me, it's we're always going to preach a fourth quarter shutout. And fourth quarter shutouts are helped by the offense when you can have 75 yards rushing in the fourth quarter. So those are things that we believe in. And I think Gabe has had a sensational camp. AJ's got a ton of talent. AJ, obviously played a little bit, then got hurt last year. I'm excited to see what he can do. Ramir Johnson, when I go back and watch the tape over the last 2 years, he's a guy that consistently flashed to me. He's healthy. He's doing a really nice job. And I'm just trying to think if there's and then I think Emmett's had a really good spring. Anthony Grant's not with us right now. I've suspended Anthony until such time as I feel like he's ready to rejoin the team. Working on just academics and just general things with him. Nothing bad other than just sort of our standards as a program. So Anthony's not practicing with us today, and that'll be day by day. Good kid, just have to get him going in the right direction.
Matt, is Chris Hickman practicing or with you guys?
Chris Hickman is not on the team. Has not. Tyreek Johnson's not on the team. And neither one of both those guys on their own, moved on. Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, I think you guys can tell I love the off-season program. I love the Matt Rhule. I love all that stuff. But this is great, right? This is great to get out there and do football and coach football and really watch these guys kind of build their craft, right? And then just try to help them, man. Like, understand. Like, I was talking to one of the guys in here. He's a freshman, and he was getting a little frustrated today. I'm like, do you want to play in the NFL? He's like, yes. I'm like, how far away is that? It's 4 years away. Like, we're ready to, like, just think about a doctor, man. Like he's learning all these little things that lead him to being a doctor over 4 years. Like, just get a little bit better. So it's fun to kind of turn it into football, but it's also fun just to get out there with the guys, man. This is the University of Nebraska. That's the first time I've seen that helmet, like that iconic helmet. So it's pretty cool for me, just on a personal note, to be out there and see all that. Yeah, Fedoni's mad at me right now because I'm limiting what he's doing, and he's completely healthy, but I'm just going to limit him all spring. I mean, we got to get him to the season, and I always believe it takes a long time for an ACL to truly heal. So I'm kind of picking my spots. So he's mad, but that's what I love about him. He's competitive. Gilbert's kind of learning as he goes, right? I mean, he's a big physical kid. We've been really happy with, Borkacher and Lindenmeyer. Those guys have played a lot of football, right? The AJ's done a nice job. Chase he's learning, Chase Androff. James Carney's no longer on the team as well. He's left the team. So, but those guys are all doing a good job. Franklin's not doing a nice job. So that's a good group. They're a big physical group. We moved Brody Tagaloa, who had been with the tight ends last year. We moved him over to the defensive line. Even though he's limited during training camp. And a guy that I think's had a really good camp, winner, is Jake Applegate. He's coming off surgery. He's up to about 237 pounds. His GPS times are pretty fast. So he's limited right now. He's in a green jersey, no contact, so he can only do Indy and 7-on-7. But I like what I've seen. I'm anxious to see him develop at that position.
Was Jake Applegate on the defensive side?
He was on the defensive side on last year's staff, and I asked him to move. I just went back and watched the tape from high school. He was a receiver, so we're looking for tight ends. We'd like to play with multiple guys at the tight end position. And Janirin Bonner is another guy that we've moved from wide out to like a hybrid F tight end. Like, I think Janirin's a guy that can do a lot of different things. So he's like 217. If we can get him like 222, I think he's like a chess piece. If you go back and watch some of the things that we've done over the years, or what Sat's done at South Carolina, like, we like tight ends who can also play tailback, who can also play wide out, that you just kind of don't know what we're in. So I'm hopeful that he can maybe do that.
Any other updates on personnel, whether that be suspensions or?
Yeah, I think I gave you guys because those guys weren't on the team since the beginning of the semester, so I don't think they've been on the roster. James, great kid, just decided to not play. So he's moved on just recently, and then Anthony Grant and Tommy Hill were not allowed to practice today, so that'll be a day-by-day thing.
You guys have been so effective at switching guys at positions over the years. When you go about that, do you find guys are pretty receptive, or how do you kind of work that through with like a guy like Bonner talking about this is why we see you at this spot? Yeah,
I think guys are probably more into it now because we can point to some of the success we've had. I think, when you've had some coaches who've coached in the NFL, and they all want to get to the NFL. Hopefully that helps. But again, we never make anyone do it. Like, if I say, hey, listen, I really think this is your best shot, and the guy's like, I don't want to play that, then I get it. I understand. We did some of it, we do some of it kind of in micro doses, right? We have some guys that'll practice both ways. Like, you'll come out to practice, and, I have some guys that'll probably play tight end and D-line because I want to see who they are and what they can be. So, just trying to give a comp for guys like, hey, this is what I think you can do. Again, when the coach sees something in you, then he wants to try you somewhere. Hopefully they take it as that, not, hey, I don't think you can do this. So I think the amount of time we've tried to spend building relationships hopefully helps. But But I don't really move anybody unless I really think, hey, you could really help us at this position.